Welcome to Digital SLR User Television. Today we are having a closer look at the A350 from Sony, as we've got here. The 14.2 megapixel APS sized chip, so it's 1.5 times crop on this baby. Probably one of the most unique things that you probably will have all seen of the camera itself is, much like the Olympus range, it has an articulating rear LCD screen. Why would it have that, you may ask? Well, a couple of reasons. First of all, if you've got a bad back and you still like to go out and take pictures, you've got a heavy camera around your neck all the time, to be able to articulate the screen, and I'll show you that there, you can actually shoot down and look down at the camera, accurately focus, etc. Now the same thing if up above, because the screen tilts down at an angle, you can lift the camera above your head and you can actually still see the screen. So if you're shooting, for example, you've got a crowd scene, you're in a concert, or you're in a kid's play and you still want to be able to shoot on the screen, you can just lift the screen out. It's ever so easy to move. There's two little clips on the side and it articulates. Obviously the Olympus E3, that does a very similar thing, but that's actually articulated at the side on a hinge, so that will actually rotate all the way out and then twist, very much like a camcorder screen, or like some compacts of old, actually digital compacts. So what have we got here in terms of spec? Well, as I've already said, it's a 14.2 megapixels, which is quite impressive. A lot of pixels in an APS-C sized. Well, this one's actually an RGB CCD chip, which is obviously debatable which is the best. They all have their own merits. Spec, live view as well, so we just click that on, bang, and we've got a live view image. It's a full-time autofocus live view as well, so you can focus with it and take the picture. There we go, and then you get a display up. It's brilliant. What else has it got? Super steady shot as well, so, and it's obviously body built, so you can put any lens on the front you want, and it's actually got the stabilisation system. I personally feel that's probably a slightly better system to use, as you can switch it on and off. It just gives you a bit more flexibility. You've got much longer lenses. Claims between 3 and 4 stops, probably more like 2 in practice. Even the best Nikon systems, they say 3 or 4 and they work out to about 2 realistically. Depends on the usage, of course. We have about 2.5 frames a second, so that's quite impressive. 9 autofocus points within there, so when you're bringing your eye up to the screen, yep, just turn the live view off. You've got 9 places in the viewfinder to select your autofocus points, whether it's continuous or single AF points. There's a 40 segment honeycomb meter. Now what does that really mean? Well, what it does, there are more places in the camera's metering system that it can take a reading from when it's in the matrix metering mode. So you can sort of, not guarantee, but ensure that you get the most accurate metering possible. The screen itself is 2.7 inches, which I believe on the, if you look, here's the Sony Alpha 100 for example, just slightly bigger. Now the bigger the screen the better. If you look at things like the Nikon D3 and the new 1DS Mark III, they've got 3-inch screens, which they really do make a difference. It's just easier to see whether it's in focus, in sharp, you get just a better view. And as you can see there, just that little bit bigger. That's the Alpha 100, which is actually being replaced by the Alpha 200. And this is the, at the minute, the range topper, which is the Alpha 700. And you can see here, if I just give you a comparison size, sorry, just move my coffee out of the way. That'll give you, there's the 100, there's the new Alpha 350, and this is the Alpha 700. Now the 700 itself, very, very similar to the D300. That's got a 3-inch screen, so bigger still, and a lot higher spec. There we go, just move that out of the way there, get that out of shot. Okay, what have we got here also spec-wise? ISO range, that's one thing that is important to a lot of people, especially if you're shooting in low light situations. We go from 100 to 3200, which I believe that the previous models were only, of the Alpha range, were only up to a 1600 ISO. You can shoot RAW, you can shoot JPEG, and you can shoot simultaneous RAW and JPEG as well. And it saves just to 1 card, and it's, there we go, just grab this out here. It shoots onto CF cards, as you can see. There we go, I'll put that back in. Program modes, got a decent set of exposure modes as well. Obviously the auto program, shutter priority, aperture priority, manual as well. a flash mode, and then it's got 6 scene presets as well. So the night exposure, portraiture, beach, snow, that sort of thing.